Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's be real for a second. How many of you have a brilliant idea, a project you're passionate about, a book you want to write, or a skill you want to learn, but it's just sitting there? You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into next month. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I used to be the king of procrastination. My to-do list was more of a wish it would do itself list. But over time, I discovered something that completely flipped the script. I went from being a professional procrastinator to a consistent creator. And today I want to share the exact journey and the actionable steps that made it happen. This isn't about magic pills or unrealistic productivity hacks. It's about understanding the psychology behind why we put things off and building a sustainable system to finally bring our ideas to life. So if you're ready to stop waiting and start creating, stick around. This might just be the conversation you need to hear. First, we need to have an honest chat about procrastination itself. It's not just laziness. In fact, most procrastinators I know are incredibly smart and capable people. The real problem often lies in fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or even fear of success and the pressure that comes with it. For me, it was perfectionism. Yes. I wouldn't start a project unless I knew I could make it perfect from the get-go. The result? I never started anything. The blank page was terrifying because it represented infinite potential for mistakes. The first major shift happened when I embraced the concept of the shitty first draft, a term coined by author Anne Lamott. The idea is simple. Give yourself permission to be terrible. Seriously, your first attempt at anything a video, painting a business plan doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It just has to exist. The goal isn't to create something perfect, simply to start. This one mental shift was a game changer. It took all the pressure off. Instead of staring at a blank canvas and panicking, I just told myself, let's just get something down. We can fix it later. And you know what? Later always came, and editing something bad is a million times easier than creating something from nothing. So, once I gave myself permission to be imperfect, the next hurdle was consistency. How do you go from a burst of inspiration to a daily practice? The answer is shockingly simple. Make it ridiculously small. We often fail at new habits because we go too big too fast. We say, I'm going to write for 2 hours every day. And by day 3, we're burnt out and back to square one. James Clear talks about this in his book Atomic Habits. The key is to start with a habit so easy you can't say no. My first creative habit wasn't write a chapter. It was write one sentence. That's it. Some days, that one sentence would turn into a paragraph and sometimes a whole page. But on my busiest, most uninspired days, I could still write one sentence. This accomplished two crucial things. First, it kept the momentum going. I never broke the chain. Second, it reinforced my identity. I wasn't someone who wanted asterisk to write. I was someone who writes asterisk. Every single day, even if it was just one sentence, I was casting a vote for my new identity as a creator. So ask yourself, what's the 2-minute version of your desired habit? Want to learn guitar? Just pick it up and strum one chord. Want to start a YouTube channel? Film a 15-second clip on your phone. Make it so easy you can't fail. With the habit established, the next phase is about building a system that supports your creativity rather than relying on fleeting motivation. Motivation is a fair-weather friend. It shows up when things are easy and disappears when you hit a roadblock. A system, on the other hand, works for you even on your worst days. My system has 2 core components: time blocking and environment design. Time blocking is non-negotiable. I schedule my creative time in my calendar just like a doctor's appointment. For me, it's the first 90 minutes of my day. That block is sacred. My phone is in another room, email is closed, and I'm focused on one thing: creating. It's not about finding time. It's about making time. Even if you can only block out 30 minutes, guard it fiercely. The second part is environment design. Your physical space has a huge impact on your behavior. I set up a dedicated corner in my room just for creative work. When I sit at that desk, my brain knows it's time to create. There are no distractions, only the tools I need. If you want to paint, have your easel and paint set up and ready to go. If you want to exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Reduce the friction between you and your habit. Don't let a 5-minute setup process be the excuse that stops you from starting. Design your environment for success, and you'll find that starting becomes automatic. Now let's talk about the inevitable plateau. You've started, you've built some consistency, but suddenly you feel stuck. The progress slows down, the inspiration dries up, and the old urge to procrastinate comes creeping back. This is where most people quit. But this is actually where the real growth happens. The key to breaking through is to introduce two things: structured feedback and deliberate practice. Creating in a vacuum is tough. You need outside perspective. This doesn't mean asking your mom if your work is good. It means finding a trusted peer, a mentor, or a community that can give you specific constructive criticism. When I started making videos, I joined a small creator group. We'd share our rough cuts and give each other honest feedback. It was humbling, but it was also the fastest way to improve. I learned what was working, what wasn't, and why. Secondly, you need deliberate practice. This isn't just mindlessly repeating the same action. It's about identifying a specific weakness and actively working to improve it. For example, I noticed my video intros were weak. So, for a whole month, I focused solely on that. I watched hundreds of intros from my favorite creators. I wrote and rewrote my hooks, and I experimented with different editing styles. I wasn't just making videos. I was systematically improving one tiny component. Find your weakness, break it down, and attack it with intention. That's how you turn a plateau into a launch pad. Finally, and this might be the most important part of the entire journey, you have to learn to embrace the process and detach from the outcome. In our hyperconnected world, it's so easy to get caught up in metrics, views, likes, subscribers, sales. When we tie our self-worth to these external validators, we set ourselves up for a roller coaster of emotions. If a video does well, we're on top of the world. If it flops, we feel like a failure and want to give up. This is a recipe for burnout. True sustainable creation comes from falling in love with the act of creating itself. Find joy in the process of writing, the challenge of editing, the puzzle of composing a song. The reward isn't the applause at the end. It's the quiet satisfaction of showing up, doing the work, and getting a little bit better each day. The outcome is a byproduct, not the goal. When you shift your focus from the result to the repetition, you win every single day just by showing up. You build resilience because your happiness isn't dependent on an algorithm. You are no longer just a procrastinator hoping for a hit. You are a creator dedicated to your craft. And that identity is something no one can ever take away from you. So there you have it. My journey from procrastinator to creator wasn't about a sudden burst of discipline. It was a slow, intentional process of changing my mindset and building a system. It was giving myself permission to be imperfect, starting ridiculously small, designing an environment for success, seeking out feedback, and most importantly, falling in love with the process itself. This path is available to every single one of you. Your creative potential isn't locked away. Just need the right key. Start today. Write one sentence. Film one short clip. Draw one line. Take that first tiny imperfect step. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more content on creativity and personal growth. Let me know in the comments what tiny habit you're going to start today. I'd love to cheer you on. Till next time, keep creating.